Ever had a moment where one sentence completely flipped your life upside down? Imagine your boss looking straight into your eyes and calmly saying, "Tonight, you're my boyfriend." Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. And trust me, I thought it would just be an awkward dinner and a small lie. I had no idea her entire family would be there, watching me, judging me, and somehow that night would change everything. Before I tell you how it all unfolded, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss stories like this one. Because this story, it starts as a simple favor but turns into something neither of us ever expected. My name is Daniel Carter, and until that evening my life was painfully ordinary. I was 28, working as a junior project manager at a marketing firm in the city. My days were filled with deadlines, spreadsheets, and trying not to make mistakes that would get me called into my boss's office. That boss was Emily Harrington. She was 30, sharp, confident, and the kind of person who walked into a room and instantly commanded attention without saying a word. She had built a reputation in the company for being brilliant but intimidating. Most employees kept their conversations with her strictly professional. I was one of them. At least until the day she called me into her office late in the afternoon. I remember knocking on the glass door and hearing her say, "Come in." Her office overlooked the entire city skyline, sunlight reflecting off the tall buildings. She was standing near the window, arms crossed, looking unusually nervous. That alone was strange. Emily Harrington never looked nervous. "Daniel," she said, turning toward me. "I need a favor." A favor? From me? My mind immediately raced through possibilities. Maybe she needed help finishing a report or presenting something to a client. But what she said next completely blindsided me. "Tonight," she said carefully, "I need you to pretend to be my boyfriend." For a moment I thought I misheard her. "I'm sorry, what?" She exhaled slowly and ran a hand through her dark hair. "My family is hosting a dinner tonight. They think I've been dating someone for the past few months. I may have exaggerated some details." "You told them you had a boyfriend?" "Yes, and that boyfriend is me. Just for tonight," she said quickly. "Please." I stared at her, trying to process this. This was the woman who could negotiate million-dollar deals without blinking. Yet now she looked almost embarrassed. "Why me?" I finally asked. She hesitated. "Because you're kind. And because you're the only person in this office I trust not to turn it into gossip." That answer hit harder than I expected. She continued, "You don't have to do much. Just show up, act normal, and leave after dinner. And your family will believe it. They will if we look convincing." There was a long pause. Every logical part of my brain told me this was a terrible idea. Mixing personal lies with work relationships. Disaster. But something in her eyes made it impossible to say no. "Okay," I said quietly. "I'll help." The relief on her face was immediate. "Thank you, Daniel." Really, I thought that was the end of the surprise. I was wrong. 2 hours later, I stood outside a massive house on the edge of the city. A mansion, really. Tall iron gates, perfectly trimmed gardens, the kind of place that silently reminded you that you did not belong there. Emily stepped out of the car beside me wearing an elegant navy dress. She looked completely different from the strict businesswoman I saw every day at the office. "Ready?" she asked. "Not even a little." She smiled faintly. Then she reached out and gently took my hand. "Just stay close," she whispered. The front door opened before we even knocked. A tall man in his late 50s stood there, his expression sharp and calculating. "Emily," he said. "Hello, Dad." His eyes shifted to me. "And this must be Daniel." I swallowed. "Yes, sir." He didn't smile. Instead he stepped aside and said, "Come in." The moment we entered, I realized something Emily had forgotten to mention. This wasn't just a small family dinner. The entire house was full. Relatives, cousins, uncles, aunts, nearly 20 people gathered in the living room. Every single one of them turned to look at us. And suddenly I understood something important. This wasn't just about pretending to be a boyfriend. This was about surviving an interrogation. Emily squeezed my hand slightly, as if sensing my panic. "Everyone," she announced, "this is Daniel." Her mother approached first, smiling warmly. "Oh Emily, he's wonderful." Then came the questions. "What do you do? Where did you meet? How long have you been together?" I answered carefully, hoping I didn't contradict anything Emily had already told them. But the real challenge came when her father called me into his study halfway through the evening. Just the two of us. He closed the door behind us. "Sit," he said. I sat. He studied me for several seconds. You seem like a decent young man, he finally said. But I've learned something in business. What's that? People lie. My heart nearly stopped. Tell me something honestly, he continued. Do you care about my daughter? The room felt impossibly quiet. The truth was, until that day Emily had simply been my boss. But after seeing how nervous she was, how much pressure she felt from her family, something had changed. Yes, I said, I do. He watched me closely. Then, unexpectedly, he nodded. Good. When we returned to the dining room, Emily looked at me anxiously. What did he say? He asked if I cared about you. And what did you say? I hesitated. I said yes. Her expression softened in a way I had never seen before. The rest of the evening passed surprisingly smoothly. We laughed, talked, and somehow the lie became easier to maintain. But something strange was happening. The more time we spent pretending, the less it felt like pretending. When the dinner finally ended and we walked outside toward the car, the night air felt cool and quiet. Emily looked at me. You saved me tonight, she said softly. You would have survived without me. Maybe, but it wouldn't have meant as much. There was a long silence. Then she asked the question that changed everything. Daniel, what if we didn't stop pretending? I blinked. You mean, maybe we start with coffee tomorrow, she said, and see where it goes. That was 3 years ago. Today, when people ask how Emily and I met, we usually laugh and say it's a long story. But the truth is simple. Sometimes life's biggest surprises begin with the smallest favor. A fake relationship, a nervous dinner, a lie that somehow turned into the most honest love I've ever known. So if this story reminded you that life can change in a single unexpected moment, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Because you never know, your life-changing moment might start with just one sentence. Tonight, you're my boyfriend. Heart.